What is going on, Sabres fans, and welcome to another episode of the Sabres Spotlight podcast, where we shine a light on all things Sabres hockey. Ryan, what's going on?
I'm doing all right. We're back in the saddle for another episode, and we're 2 days out from the NHL Draft, which is always exciting to see the young kids. Well, actually, it's so funny. I just remembered off the top of my head, the draft is they're not going to have any like the GMs at the draft, so you're going to
One
have like
Bills
the kids
Drive.
and their parents. But like who? So you know how in the draft we'll start off with like a little, it's not a rant, but like we're just gonna go wild here. But like you know how like at the draft it's always cool. The kids get up, they hug their mom and dad, their sister, brother, whoever else is there, their
Start
family.
making out,
And
whatever.
yeah, Maverick Lamoureux's family. Shout out Maverick Lamoureux's family. Just tongue deep on camera. Uh, but they go up and like the trail of like executives from each team, like for the Sabres it would be like Kevin Adams and Jerry Forton and Terry, and they're all up there. This year it's going to be so weird because the players are going to be announced by who I assume would be Gary Bettman doing all the picks, since it's like he's the only one there and
Probably.
there are no like team executives, so it'll kind of be like NFL drafty kind of way
The
until
players aren't together, are they?
yeah, the players are
Oh,
there.
the players are there. Okay.
The players are there and the GMs are all like at home.
Right,
Like
right,
the
right.
the
Yeah, yeah.
GMs are all at home. That's so it's kind of weird. It'll be like a little bit of how Roger Goodell announces the picks for football. So I'm just curious to see how that's going to work. Are they going to dap them up? Or are they going to give them a hug? I don't know. We'll see.
It will be interesting. It's definitely going to be different. This is not like a permanent thing, right? I think they're just trying this year, and they'll go from there.
Well, from the way Elliot Friedman has described it, is that Bettman said we can do this one time because the owners were like, or the GMs and owners were like complaining that they didn't want to travel to the locations of the draft anymore.
Yeah.
So Bettman said, okay, in 2026 or 2025, you guys can have the first decentralized draft. And then last year's draft at the Sphere was so much fun and so exciting for all the GMs. They're actually like complaining now that this draft is decentralized.
That's just the
And
old
like if you
damned if you
listen,
do, damned if you don't thing.
and if you listen to 32 Thoughts consistently, Elliot has like said that Batman has been like, hey, like this is your fault. Like you guys chose this, so we can talk about next year's draft, like after this year's. But he's just all like, if you want to go back to in person, we can go back to in person. But it's just gonna be a little weird.
Well, and Friedman's not going to take a stance on it. He is the king of just right in the middle. I'm going to stay in the
Yeah, I
middle
mean
lane. I'm not going too far this way. I'm not going too far that way.
that's why he's got the sources and connections, man. He's just
I know.
Peter right in the middle. It's funny.
But my thoughts on that, yeah, are very similar. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously the Sabres are drafting out of One Bills Drive. Kevin Adams talked a little bit about that, like in his um, press conference. I think it was yesterday with Jerry Forton, and about what he thought about being decentralized now, and if they think it's going to remove like some of the value from it. I don't know, man. I mean, I like the NHL draft, especially like the first round's historically been lately so lame anyways. So there's not a lot of movement. So I don't think it's going to hurt that one way or the other. And these guys can just get on the phones with each other anyways.
Yeah.
For our team, it might actually help out, like less distractions. I don't know, like just keep those guys focused and try and get them to do whatever they need to do. But it is going
Well,
to be
can
different,
I
that's for
ask you?
sure.
Can I ask how you feel about the Sabres doing their stuff at One Bills Drive? Because
I don't feel
I've
good
got
about
a
it.
you do or you
I
don't?
don't.
Why?
I want those
Tell me,
two franchises as separated as possible.
like a voodoo thing?
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
but like I've got a little bone to pick with Sabres fans online lately, and we can get into it later. But like, who cares that they're using the Bills facilities? I think it's cool. They probably have more technology. This is the like I said, the NFL draft is decentralized every single year, so they have the tools, they have everything. So I just think it's kind of like neat that they get to use their facilities. Like there's no way that like the Sabres have that like infrastructure in the building. Like they just don't. Like why would they need it?
No,
They're
no.
they're always on site for the draft. So like let's chill out a little bit. Like it's not like
The
oh
Sabres don't even have desks. They got like beanbag chairs and like little
no they got
laptop desks.
you know how in school when the desk that you had and you can like crack your back on the chair. That's what kind of desk that they're using.
Yeah, yeah, for real. No, I feel like you know what's gonna
But
happen. We're gonna watch Hard Knocks with the Bills in like another like month and a half, and there's gonna be like a segment on there where a shaman or something is just walking around like one Bills drive, and we're all gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? That was what when the Bills had someone come in and cleanse the room after the Sabres used it.
yep, yeah, they deep cleaned it.
Yeah, get these evil spirits out of here. I don't think
Yep,
it's
that's
gonna,
funny.
but going back to what we were talking about, I don't think it's going to really affect the
No,
ability of like things to get done or trades to happen. It's kind of interesting because I think the NBA draft is tonight, right?
yep,
And they were showing coverage on it a lot today at my work, and you see like the draft boards and like 2/3 of the top 15 picks are like already traded. Like the NBA is crazy with like
dude,
player
NBA
movement
is
and signings and stuff, and the NHL is just like completely the opposite with that shit.
like I actually have thought about this many times because I'm not an NBA guy. Like I'm a casual NBA
Yeah, I'm not.
follower. Like
I'm
I'll
not
watch
either.
some like I'll watch some playoff games. I watched a couple of the finals were really exciting. I know the players because I feel like in pop culture like the players are just so popular. Like you know who NBA players are, but that league, man, would piss me off because like guys are getting traded left and right. Like you can't build a team, you can't build a foundation because in a year, like guys are just gone, and
Oh yeah,
that
it's
has to do with
crazy.
like their salary cap is weird. I actually
The
saw
contracts are
so
nuts. They get paid so much money in the NBA. Oh my
they
god.
do. So the NBA salary cap is so weird. Like so, I saw Josh Kroenke, who is the owner of Denver, talking about how they might have to trade Jokic because of like a salary cap thing where if they go over like a certain amount, like they get penalties and then they can't like make moves and they'll have to move a certain amount of money. Dude, it's insane.
It's
Like
like a
it's so
luxury
complicated,
tax in baseball, but no one cares about that in baseball.
but way worse. Like
Yeah.
they have a luxury tax and then like a second luxury tax
Huh.
that like they have to pay. And if you go over that, then like you're basically fucked with like roster moves. And it's just like I don't think I would enjoy this like at all. It's just weird. It's a weird league. But that being said, I mean, if my team was consistently good or trying, I bet I would have fun. But I don't know.
Well, let's start at the draft since we're already here. What do you think? What are your thoughts on pick nine? I know we had this exact discussion 1 year ago about
Yep.
do the Sabres, stick and pick where they were last year. Can't remember what pick they had last year. If it was top 10 or maybe it was 13 last year, I think. But
Yeah, we took Consta. 14. We had 12. No, we had 11, and then we traded to 14.
okay, yeah, yeah. So we had this exact conversation last year because the situation was almost exactly the same. You can copy paste, last year's offseason to this year's offseason as far as what the team still needs and what they didn't do. And so I'm curious what you think about. Again, do you anticipate a trade back? Elliot Friedman has kind of alluded to the fact that this year he's thinking there could be some more movement at the top of the board, and he did name the Sabres as one of those teams that has been very active so far, just in general. And on the most recent show, he did mention them in the list of teams that he thought could make a little bit of a noise um, or set some of the tone for the draft. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that we're going to see that and get some NHL talent in here? What are you anticipating for draft night in a couple nights?
I want Elliot to be right so bad. I want to see fireworks. I want to see fun. I want to see trades. But this is the NHL. I I'm willing to bet. I think 80% chance that we're sticking and picking a kid at pick nine. There's lots of rumors about the Sabres right now. I feel like there's more smoke about the Sabres out there than any team in the league, and that's both exciting to me and scary. Like, do you want Kevin Adams to be the guy potentially trading a top 10 pick? I'm not sure.
I don't care honestly. To me that doesn't matter because it's like he's already had what like four top 10 picks and like they've made good picks with them. So like which is not what people want to hear, but like they do have good players in their farm system, and like we've kind of detailed before that like Adams has shown the ability to actually make trades. It's more of
Yeah,
the actual
like the
roster
one thing
building.
he's good at. The one thing he's good at is trades.
Yeah, so I honestly like I would rather see that because the problem he has, and we can talk about this now because he got asked the question about, and I'm curious what your thoughts are here, just having more of a hockey background than myself. He got the question about in the draft, are you drafting for a certain position, right? Or are you going to be taking best player available? So him and Jerry, both talked about how, early on they're going to be taking best player available, and then later on you can draft for needs. But then I think in my head, like, you have acquired, you've done that for the last 4 years. Like you've amassed a good prospect pool. You're consistently rated by other player people in the hockey world as having one of the best prospect leagues in the pool. So you've done your job there, but the team is still where the team is, and you haven't shown the ability to create a roster the right way and build the roster the right way. Whether it's your trades through acquiring Byram and not seemingly having a plan for him, or drafting these players that are talented, but we have 9 left shot D and we don't have any right D. So I'm just curious on your thoughts of like, if we end up sticking and picking at 9, I don't know if I want to just do that best player available. Like, just like if you're not going to be able to build a team the right way, and you're going to be the one, at least give me a player like that we need now. Like, give me a right-handed defenseman, or get me like another forward or something. Like, I don't know. He listed every position as possible, and it's like you got to have some more direction here, man. And if you're going to make a trade, you got to have a direction with that trade too. So that's kind of where I am. Like, I'm kind of okay if he makes the pick, like whatever. But if you make the pick or if you make the trade, like, just you have to have the plan now, and maybe Yarmo can help him with that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, first I'll say whoever we pick at 9, I want them nowhere near the Sabres roster for this year, like whatsoever.
Oh no.
These kids are 18. Kids are 18 years old. Zach Benson was the exception, and the only reason Zach Benson made the team 2 years ago was because they did absolutely nothing in the summer to bolster the roster. Like, if they bolster the roster, Zach Benson has a really fun preseason and then goes back to junior and plays on Team Canada at the World Juniors. Like, this team is, I want nothing to do with any of these guys making the roster, no matter who they pick. But there are a couple guys that I really, really like, just based off, like, Corey Pronman's scouting, and Chris Baker. Shout out Chris Baker, a local guy, his scouting and stuff. This draft it's setting up to where 9 might be a really good spot to pick because of the risers and fallers over the last couple weeks.
Well, Fortin said that they kind of see it as not necessarily. There's been a lot of reports of it's the top 2 guys, and then there's a fall off. After that, he kind of mentioned in the presser that they see it more as like a top 6, 7, and so if it's getting closer to 9, and they're not thinking about making a move, or it doesn't look like something's going to happen there as far as acquiring actual NHL talent, then you might be able to stick there and pick one of those top 6 or 7 if they're going to fall to you, depending on how the earlier picks have gone. Or that's when you make the decision, okay, well, if there's a drop off after 6 or 7, we're probably not getting them, then maybe we move back. The Sabres do have a bunch of picks, though. I mean, they have a bunch of picks in this draft. They have like 10 total picks, I think.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. I mean, just at least like later on, I want them to just. I mean, those are already like basically scratch off cards.
Yeah.
Those late picks. Just take the most high upside guys you can. Take a goalie. I want to see them take a goalie in this draft.
In the later rounds, yeah, I wouldn't mind a goalie either.
I believe you should take a goalie every year.
Yeah.
Have just one guy that you are watching, for the next 4 or 5 years, wherever they are, and bring them over or whatever. But dude.
But go back to my question, because you never really answered it real quick.
I never answered it.
Do you want them to do? Would you like them to? Maybe you did kind of like tangentially, but like, would you want them to just go best player available, or would you want them to draft for needs?
I mean, the way I want them just to pick a guy. I mean, if you pick a center, let's say you pick a center, you know, they make your NHL roster and suddenly like they can't hack it at center and they're a winger. Or like you pick you I don't want them to like reach for, let's say we got a couple good right shot D in the system, but let's say they stick and they pick Radim Murtka, the big 6'6" Czech defenseman, right shot. I don't want them to pick him because he's a right shot. We have no right shots on the roster. I want them to pick him because they think, in 2 years he might be able to have a contributing role like on the Sabres.
Yeah.
And by 2 years from now, we might have a bunch of right shots. Like you don't know. Like these kids are all 18. Like you're projecting them on your roster, like hypothetically, like a year or 2 years, 3 years from today.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to say, pick for need when you don't know what your needs are on your NHL roster a couple of years from now.
Yeah, I guess I'm fine with taking the best player available. Like I said, it's worked out for them in gathering this. Like I said, the talent that they have. If anything, then it's more so what happens after the fact, and that's where I'm hoping Jarmo can come in, where it's like, okay, well now this is what we have, and let's identify our needs a little bit more, and actually start putting together a roster that's going to work together. Like you can't just take best player available in the draft every year, Adams, and then make these trades just acquiring, more NHL talent, players that you feel are good, but not have a plan.
Zero plan for trading Middlestat for Byram. They just thought, oh, he's good. Let's just trade for him.
Yeah.
No plan.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's where it's difficult, but we'll see.
Can I highlight a couple guys in this draft that Sabres fans should get like maybe familiar with, just in case they kind of pick up? There's one guy that I think is the key to this entire draft, and that's James Hagens. Literally for like the last 2 years, he's a top 3 pick. He's a top 3 pick, like no matter what. I kind of think from what I've been reading, and I've watched him a lot. Like I'm bored at home. I had a newborn during hockey season. I was watching like a ton of hockey because there was nothing else to do. He's a good player, and if he falls, a lot of people are now projecting him to fall to like that 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9 range. Like selecting James Hagens would be awesome. He's a 5'11" center that plays for Boston College, and I think he's really good. And there's a couple other guys I've seen a lot of love for, like a Jake O'Brien, another center, but he's a super good playmaker, but he's super soft. Porter Martone, who's a big winger. You would think he would grow into being able to play like a rough style, but he kind of is not that. He's kind of more of like more Tage than like Tom Wilson, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If you could, give a comparison there. There's so many guys that can fall there. Victor Eklund. William Eklund's his brother that plays for San Jose. Victor Eklund, he's not small. People keep calling him small. He's 5'11", dude. 5'11" is not small. He's like 170. I feel like that's kind of average NHL size.
It's such a difference between like 1 inch where you're 5'11" and then 6 foot,
Yeah, right. Like he's not small, but he's a dog. Like think like Zach Benson type dog. So there's a couple guys, man. This draft is just kind of exciting. People were like, "Oh, it's a weak draft. It's a weak draft." They're only saying that because Matthew Schaefer is kind of like the Owen Power of this year, like left shot D.
Yeah, going to Islanders.
Offensive, not very good defensively. He's gonna have to learn how to do that. And
the Islanders having the first pick too is so stupid and lame.
So stupid.
But I would not have wanted San Jose to get another number 1 pick, to be honest. And I would not have wanted Chicago either. Utah getting the number 1 pick, I think would be sick. But
it was Chicago that I didn't want to get it. And Utah. Utah doesn't deserve it,
dude. But listen, okay. There's all these teams up here are ass. I guess for a reason, but like, there's no teams.
We're ass.
I'm saying like that don't interest me at all. Like, in versus taking the number 1 pick, like the Islanders, no. San Jose, Chicago, Utah. Like, I would be okay with that. But then like Nashville, Philly, Boston, Seattle. These teams make me want to puke, man. Like, oh my god.
I know. Dude, Nashville, oh my goodness, they're in one. That's a team that's like, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like remember how last year we were sucking them off?
Oh, everyone was, yeah.
They made all those signings, and now they're just like old and they're bad and that's a team that's kind of in shambles. But a couple guys that I shouted out that Sabres fans might Might have to get used to, or they're gonna go off the wall and pick someone like a Justin Carbonneau, who's like a winger from the Q. So who knows what they'll do? I don't know. The Sabres, I kind of trust their drafting
Yeah,
more than
for
other
sure.
teams.
I'm on the Athletic right now, and I'm just looking at the Scott Wheeler posted yesterday a mock draft. Well,
Yeah.
this is his third version, but
Who does he got?
in this one to the Sabres, he has him picking at 9 Radim Merka, so
Yep, the
which is
defenseman.
a right hand defenseman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's big. He's big. I don't know. He's just I don't know. Who knows? They're 18. You don't know what they're gonna be. It's I don't know. You're just projecting skill sets.
yeah, yeah, I don't really care either way. I mean, I would love to get a defenseman. I'm trying to. So we took Consta last year, and then the year before
Yep.
was Benson, and then the year before
Yep.
was Savoy. So like,
Yep.
it's been a long time since they took. Or it's been a few years at least since they took like a defenseman with their notes. Owen Power is probably the last one, defenseman that they took.
Yeah. And then before that, it was Darlene.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't mind getting a defenseman in there, but I don't really care. I mean, I'm fine with best player available early on or moving
yeah.
back if I guess
Our
what they do will
team,
dictate what they saw.
there's a lot of smoke. There's a little bit of smoke out there. Like, tell me what you think about this. So we can go into Paterka stuff, but
Yeah.
there's a rumor out there. I'm not sure. Maybe Frank Saravalli. Dude, Frank is just shooting from the hip. That guy is just putting shit out there, shooting from the hip. I don't know how like trustworthy he could
Pulling
be.
his Jeff Merrick out.
I kind of meme him a little bit because like, dude, he's not even looking. He's just blindfolding, just throwing shit out there. He said something about like maybe trading, Bowen Byram for third overall, or like using JJ to trade for third overall with Chicago and something else. That kind of the team is not getting better.
I'm not. No.
You know,
I am
you know,
absolutely. There's no way in hell that I'm trading players to
yeah,
move up in the draft. No way.
right. I think because the team like itself is not getting better. Yeah,
No.
personally, I want to use those players. Like if we can trade Bowen Byram for a first round pick, and then since we would theoretically have two first round picks, use one of those to acquire an NHL player. Now we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it. Like you need to move. You need to move guys to get actual NHL talent. I mean, if we want to talk about JJ, we can because it's kind of out there that
It's so
Kevin
weird.
Adams wasn't necessarily denying if he asked to be moved. He basically skirted around that question and was asked very directly, like, is that a no? And he never just said no. So you kind of assume that he probably did, or it's a contractual thing, like you said, that they're working through. But I've always been kind of on the fence with JJ, like throughout this whole podcast. Like I think he's a good player, but he's streaky. He fills a very niche role, and for a team that's not the Sabres, I think that could work. And that
Yep.
sounds like a bad excuse to trade a guy. I know, like, oh, just because it's like it doesn't work for the Sabres, but I don't. For him specifically, like as good as a player he is, like there's liabilities defensively. I don't feel like there's any leadership there, like any leadership qualities. Not that you need that for everybody, but he just doesn't like remind me or like the guy that like is first to the rink and last to leave. Like just little things like that. Like I don't get those warm and fuzzy vibes with JJ, and maybe that's just because he's
He
German,
also
but I don't know.
right, yeah, all the Germans are a little salty like that.
But I'm
But
fine
he
moving
also
on from him. Like I'm totally fine with
he,
that.
he doesn't kill penalties either. And like you said, he's streaky, but he's also not good on the power play. Like I don't know.
No, he's not good on the
I
power
don't
play.
think the Sabres. I don't think the Sabres power play system is very good, as evidenced by their finishes over the last couple seasons. But I also think that like the players on the power play maybe aren't good at it. Like I think I don't know. I think you can. I think I'm with you, dude. Like I was before. I think maybe when we recorded last time, like a couple weeks ago, I was anti trading JJ. Now I think I'm okay with it if it happens.
You can do it because you're gonna get more from Kulik next year. Like Kulik's gonna take
Hopefully, yeah.
like if you are projecting like a leap forward from Kulik and you start to get a little bit more from Benson as well, and then can a guy like Oslin be a Paterka in a couple years? Like and
Yeah.
that's fine. Like if you go out and move Paterka now, and you acquire some actual NHL talent now, so the team is better. Then you're extending the shelf life of your team. So then in another couple of years, you can call up a prospect and have him beat JJ Peterka on a cheap contract, and that works. That's how it works out for all these teams like Dallas and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
So I was looking. I
whatever.
was looking at potential landing spots for JJ. Uh, you know, you know who doesn't have any no trade protection until July 1st? Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues. 25 years old, I believe, and he is awesome.
Oh, Cairo is
And for some
so good.
reason,
Yeah.
I keep reading that St. Louis is kind of horny to get rid of him or like move him in a deal. A 1-for-1 swap, JJ Peterka for Jordan Kyrou. That could work for both teams.
I wonder why they would want to get rid of him.
I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I don't care
I don't
either,
know.
but he's been a
But
good
like
player for them.
yeah, he's awesome. He puts up points. He is good at transitioning the puck, and I think he just brings and he's got a little bite to his game too. So I feel like, and they kind of need scoring. I know he's not like he doesn't put the puck in the net at like a high rate, and I do feel like JJ Peterka can score 35 goals in the league.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why that the Blues would want to acquire JJ just for a little more scoring, like goals wise. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
JJ has appeal right
If
now
you're
for
moving,
teams.
yeah, if you're moving Peterka, you're not moving him for trash. You're moving him for another really good young player, or a high first plus useful player who knows. I don't know. I'm just open to it now.
St. Louis has a lot of players that I like, honestly. Like, there's a couple guys on their team that,
Robert Thomas, absolute beast, but he's never getting traded.
yeah, Buchnevich.
Buchnevich, yeah,
Shit. Dylan
he's
Holloway was sick last year too. Like, I like
yeah,
Dylan Holloway, but that's a guy that they're gonna want to keep for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, Cairo. I
Hey,
mean, Cairo's
like you
signed
said,
through 2031,
it's not scary anymore.
and Cairo's only
It's
an
not scary
$8.13 million
anymore.
hit. Like, that's not bad at all.
I I do have to check for myself, dude.
He
I'm
has a no
fact checking
trade.
myself in real time. No,
Play.
he scored 36 goals last year.
Yeah, but he has a no trade. It
So
says.
he is a good. He is a scorer. He doesn't have any no trade protection. So Jordan Kyrou, good scorer, but still point stands. Maybe they want like a little bit more from him.
Puckpedia is showing me that he has a no trade clause.
I just read that he didn't earlier
Well,
today. It goes into effect July 1st, I believe.
oh, okay, yeah. So maybe
So
that's it. But
it's either goes into effect July 1st or after July 1st he doesn't have trade protection. It's one of those two. I know that because I think one of the local guys like wrote about him this week as a
well,
potential JJ spot.
if that ends up being the case, I mean, I'd be all in on that. But either way, the point is if you can get a player, go and get it, because especially for JJ, he has high value right now. Friedman has been out saying that there's a lot of teams kind of calling on him, and goals. When you put up goals, that's what teams want, and you'll be able to get something for him. So, can you go get a couple role players for that, like you said, and then package pick 9 for something else, like somewhere else? That would be great. So, what about let's move on to Alex Tuck. That's another player I wanted to get into here, because the question is going to be if we extend him. And Kevin
They have
Adams,
to.
yeah, Kevin Adams was asked about it, and it's this is my biggest complaint with Adams. It doesn't seem like there's enough urgency with things, because in his answer, it almost seems like he talked about how, like, oh, there's a lot going on right now, and Tuck has made it clear that he likes it here, he wants to stay here, but it's something that we're going to do the draft, and then and it's like, I got the feeling from listening to him that they haven't even talked much yet about this, and it's like, why are you not getting on this sooner? Like, I don't know. Like, this is a guy you want to stay. He's making 4.75 right now. You're that number's obviously going up, but why aren't we getting on that?
Dude, I agree. I agree completely. Like I just slap him with an offer he deserves. He's probably going to get like in the $8 to $9 range per year. Don't disrespect this guy. You traded for him in the Eichel trade.
Yep.
He was so excited about coming here. So excited. And obviously like it hasn't gone as well as he would have hoped, but he he has to stay. Like they cannot let him leave, in my opinion.
79 points 2 years ago, 59 points 3 years ago, 79 points, 2 years ago, 59 points, and then last season, 67 points. But 2 out of the last 3 years, he's potted 36 goals, and each,
Yeah, he's awesome. He's an awesome player.
yeah.
He's great defensively. He got votes for the Selkie this year. Like he's a leader. He plays in the power play. He plays in the penalty kill. Like we need this player to be signed. Maybe not an 8-year deal. He doesn't necessarily need to get an 8-year deal at 30 years old. But if they give him a 5-year deal, 5 years, 45 million, I think I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely get on that as soon as possible if I'm him. I don't know what Alex Tuck in his camp is wanting, but they're having another kid, so I'm sure he's looking for. Obviously, he's going to want to lock down, a nice contract and probably feel secure. Buffalo's a nice spot. Like all that stuff makes sense. To give the guy the security he wants and get him a contract that's keeping him somewhere where he wants and show the league that you're going to pay your guys. I mean, this team is like they've paid Darlene and Power probably a little early, but you haven't really shown the ability around the league that you're going to pay your guys, with the exception of a couple like no brainers in Tage and Darlene. It's like take care of your guys. Teams look at that like, oh, if I go there and I do, like they're going to take care of me, and I don't know. That's someone they gotta. That's somebody that I definitely want them to get done. Can we do a quick Josh Norris combo?
What is he going to play more than 3 games?
Dude, it sounds crazy, but this is a guy I would move to. I don't.
Yeah, no, I would 100%.
I mean,
100%.
his contract is not like it's not a
insane.
bad contract.
It's insane.
But it's movable. It's definitely movable. But
yeah,
I mean, I know you just got this guy, but something about him just. I hope. I mean, obviously, I hope I'm wrong and it works out. There's no way they're gonna move him. But like, honestly, if someone called on him, I'd be like, yeah, well, you can move on from that. I mean, hell, look what the Hurricanes just did with what's his name? Why am I losing his name? It just went from to Dallas.
with
Rantanen.
Rantanen.
Yeah, like look what they just did to Rantanen. It's like you can acquire a guy and then trade him. So he's just someone that I don't know. Maybe just because I have no connection with him yet because we traded for him and
I mean,
I just am soured on him because he didn't play.
He doesn't play.
That's someone
that's
I
the
would
whole
move.
thing. That's like it's like, dude, we did not have to move Dylan Cousins at the deadline. Like, we could have waited. Like, I know it would have sucked to have him on the team for any longer, because it was just getting ridiculous watching him. It was just awful, pretty much. But like, dude, we acquired a guy that barely plays. Like, I don't like this. Like, I really hope he plays like more than 50 games. Like, and that's like on the low end.
Like Cousins need to go, and we said that. But if Norris stays healthy, I mean, maybe he can be a guy. But it just doesn't seem like he cares to really be here too much. And I just wonder about it. So we'll see what happens. Come a few months and the season starts kicking around a little bit more. But all right, I think that pretty much wraps it up for players. I think our next show can do. We can do a little bit more of the roster. Who did we miss?
Missed a guy. Kevin Adams was adamant that they're not buying out Matthias Samuelsson.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That's right. He also said, which we could talk about any one of these if we want to. He also said that they're totally fine with UPL and Levi next year. If that ends up being the case. So,
dude, what are we doing? Number one, I find it objectively strange to say that you've not once ever had a discussion about buying out Samuelsson, considering a buyout would be 10 years at like $700,000.
It's crazy.
Because he's before his age 26 season, which means you can buy out his contract for a third of it instead of once he turns 26, that becomes 2/3 of it.
He's so bad. He's so bad. I would be open to extending Clifton for another few years and getting rid of Sammy.
Yeah, I mean, I would be willing to cut my own dick off if Samuelsson was off this roster. Okay, but dude, just to say that you've never even talked about it like a single time. I think Matthew Fairburn
I
makes this
believe him when
point.
he says
Uh,
that because he's an idiot.
I do too. That's the scary part. But I think maybe like if he has Samuelson in trade talks, I'm giving Kevin the benefit of the doubt. If he has Samuelson in trade talks, well, then he's not gonna admit that like, hey, we're just gonna buy this guy out of his contract in 3 days, or what is it today, Wednesday? In like a week, we're gonna buy him out. Like that's not gonna fly like in trade negotiations. So that's like the only way I could see like him being so mad about like Samuelson buyout rumors. It's just like this guy has underperformed for a couple years, and it's like his buyout is so low that it should be at least like talked about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, and he became so much more expendable when they signed Bryson to that year deal.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's like you already locked up another defenseman there. You don't
Yeah,
need
I locked up
Sam.
a real team leader, a guy that doesn't even want to play. He just wants to be have vibes around the fucking team. Doesn't even want to play. Just like, oh, I'm just a
But
locker room
but that's
vibes
where
guy.
his value is because he's okay with being benched.
That's insane. Can you imagine saying that?
He says these things thinking they're like good points.
Yeah, I just I gave the guy 800K to eat popcorn in the suite.
Oh my
Doesn't even have to
gosh.
play.
Oh my gosh.
Shit's unreal. Like you couldn't. Oh my god. I would have much rather. Like I don't know what they're gonna do on next Tuesday in terms of like signing guys or like what's gonna happen. But I would have much preferred them to like bring back Dennis Gilbert as your seventh defenseman over Jacob Bryson.
They could still do that.
Yeah, they could, and like Bryson could go to the minors, and like we're just bitching for to bitch, but like you said, they get no benefit of the doubt like whatsoever. So
Yeah.
they're gonna get that until they become good.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. We'll transition into management and coaches a little bit here, but it will be interesting to see because there's still going to be decisions coming up for obviously Bowen Byram, like you said, even Ryan McLeod, Jack Quinn, JJ Paterka. So they got some decisions to make on players here. So the draft is going to probably, well, I mean, honestly, I think as a Sabres fan, you're hoping that the draft puts a wrinkle in that because that means that something happened and that we're
Yep.
happy. And if the draft doesn't change anything about this and we're just going to be signing these guys and running it back and hoping to, hit on a guy or two in free agency, then that's because nothing happened at the draft and nothing significant happened
Like
and we just drafted where we were supposed to. So hopefully it's the first option there.
if Bo specifically isn't traded before Friday, like before the draft, I'm gonna question a lot of things.
Does this stuff have to get done before July 1 or no?
I mean, no, not really.
Right.
No, but like then you're talking about like if you're talking about picks, then you're talking about picks in 2026, and that's a
Right, right,
full
right,
year
right.
away. It's like if you're talking like you know picks for Byram or like picks in a player for Paterka or something, like I feel like it kind of has to be done by Friday.
Well,
But who
or
knows?
if they're looking at making a big splash, then you're looking at okay, Byram and a pick on our end, for somebody big,
For something. Yeah.
I mean, do that shit. I don't know. We'll see. But go sign Brad Marchand, man.
Give him all the money. Give him all of it. Don't care. I would buy that jersey instantly.
It's going to be interesting. We'll do a little bit. We can definitely plan some around the league talk because there'll be a ton of shit to talk about the next time we get together as far as what
Yeah,
happened
we
in
got it.
free agency and things. So that's
Sid,
going to be a fun
yeah, for
show
sure.
for sure. The next one we'll have a lot to reflect on. But let's get into real quick before we wrap up today, just the coaching end of things. I wanted to start with with Yarmo because we talked last pod about the signing and we like it and it's good. It's at least something different. It shows a pulse. But what did you think? And what did you think when Adam says that Yarmo is all in, but then you find out 10 seconds later that he's staying in Columbus and he's not even going to be, in Buffalo working? I just find that a little like, I don't know. I would, if you're going to be second in command, essentially, like be on the ground, man.
This doesn't bother me whatsoever. I'll be honest.
I find it just so Sabres like that. This is the guy that's here. Why do you need to be 4 hours away? Like, I know you can just get on the phone, but
Yeah, dude. I honestly think that since like we've had incompetent GM after incompetent GM, that we're the only fan base that like hypes up someone in an advisor role. Like he's just advising. Like
Yeah, but
Kevin
how
could just be like,
effectively
yeah,
can you do that if you're not in the building?
I mean, he's gonna be here for the things. Like he'll probably stop every once in a while. I mean, he's in Columbus. It's not like he's in Finland, so he could, you know, drive here in 4 hours or fly here in a couple hours. But like, I mean, dude, it's 2025. Like earlier today, you FaceTimed me and I got to see your family, and you got to see Mr. Quinn like in on a phone.
Yeah, and
So
then
it's
I hung
not
up
really
and I
like
talked
it's
mad
that
shit
big of
about
a
you.
yeah. To your kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ryan's like, yeah, Uncle Ryan stinks.
Yeah. So they're just gonna tell Yarmo whatever they want to his
Yeah.
face on FaceTime, and then they're gonna
And
hang
then
up and and they're gonna say
you
whatever the
fucking
hell they
believe
want.
this guy? Can you believe this guy? He really wants me to do that? Psh, psh, we're not doing that.
I
But
did.
yeah, I don't know.
I
It just Jason Carmanos also works out of Pittsburgh, so like I don't know.
I think I'm just old school, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have one or two thoughts on this. Like you're either gonna be on the side of like most things with the Sabrehood, where it's like I'm a little bit more on the side of like I'd like to see him here because I think just with that organization and some of the issues they've had, I think it is important to be there and kind of see what's going on because it's not like it's run like Florida where everyone's doing their job and you don't have to worry about things. Like it is a little bit different. So
You're right.
I'd like that, but a guy like him where he's got a lot of experience and things, I can see it working as long as he's staying super connected and dialed in, which I'm sure he will. But it's just,
Well, don't worry, dude. Don't worry. He'll be living in Buffalo when he's hired as the next general manager of the Buffalo Sabres.
dude, I hope so. And I got so I don't know why I got so irritated hearing Adams talk about hiring him and how like it was
Oh,
his
such
decision.
bullshit.
It was his
He's
decision, and I wanted someone for the role. I've been thinking about. It was all me, and I'm like, dude, like you don't even deserve having half this power that you freaking have. It like I was so annoyed hearing him say this stuff.
Yeah, dude. He like portrayed it where he's like, "Oh, we've been looking for the right guy for a long time." Like, no, you
Yeah,
haven't.
get out of here. No way. The dude coasted for the first 3 years because he was like he got the job out of nowhere, and then he didn't have to worry about anything for a few years because you had a cushion because we were so bad you knew nothing was going to happen, and now he's finally on the hot seat. But like, get out of here! No way.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I can barely stomach trying to listen to his media appearances. It's not worth it to me. Like it's nothing of substance is ever said. I can't stand his voice anymore. I can't wait till Yarmo takes over fully because
Not
it's
anymore.
gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced that like they're gonna hire him like as GM and Adams maybe does like business stuff again, which is what he is good at. I don't know.
Well, last thing he said, and then I want to touch on, and we don't have to spend a ton of time here, but he did say he was asked about the assistant coaches, and I think it may have been Mike who asked the question. I don't know who it was. It sounded like it might have been Mike, but he basically said, don't you find it odd, that you had a 79-point season last year and seemingly nothing changed behind the bench, with the exception of, or within the organization, with the exception of the strength and conditioning coach. Adams kind of defended it as like, well, we brought on Eric Stahl, we brought on Yarmo. That's kind of like how he kind of like skirted around the question a little bit, but basically said that they have excellent coaches and that they're all under contract, and if Lindy deems that things need to be switched, that they can look to add, and they might not be done adding, but the plan is to run it back. So there's that awesome bit of
Dude, it's disgraceful. It's truly disgusting.
the
Just
fact
look
that
around the league.
DeBoer is not already our coach is downright a crime.
Well, not even that, dude. Around the league, like assistant coaches are being hired constantly. I mean,
Yeah,
what is so special? I get it that they like Seth Appert. I'll give them Seth Appert. Like it's fine. I don't think Seth Appert's a good coach, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But the other guys, like, what is Marty Wilford doing here? Owen Power has like, he's a good offensive player, but has barely progressed defensively in his time here. Um, the defense has just been catastrophic
Yeah.
for the last, handful of years. What role is he playing in that?
I mean,
Like,
even the
why is he
goaltending,
still here?
like,
Mike Bales.
yeah,
Why is he still here?
yeah,
Go find a different goaltending coach.
yeah.
But what? Even guys that like Lindy had in New Jersey and worked with as an assistant in New York are available, and it's like, or in Dallas when he was the head guy, like
Or at a
these
minimum,
guys
if you
are
don't want to
available.
fire
Like,
anybody, add staff. Like bring another
yeah,
guy in or whatever. Like I don't know.
but like Lindy didn't even get to choose the staff. Like 2 years in a row, he's going to work with Granado's coaches.
Yeah,
Like I think that's insanely disrespectful to Lindy, and people might not think Lindy is a good enough coach anymore, that he's too old. But like they're doing the man a disservice, and it's actually really sad
yeah.
to see that, because there's no way Lindy lays his head on his pillow at night and is okay with this coaching staff.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Just
It's
it just reeks of being cheap. Because what did Kevin say, that they have a year left on their deals? You can't fire them, dude. They're NHL coaches. I would be willing to bet that they're making like 200K a year,
yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
as an assistant.
It's embarrassing, man.
Like,
It's
you're
embarrassing.
making nothing.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, especially because, like you said, you have it organizationally across multiple positions, and you haven't seen the growth from your young players that you're expecting to be there. I mean, there's prospect growth, but they're not playing in the NHL. So, I mean, your job is to get them ready for the NHL. So when you're calling up these players consistently and you're not getting what you need out of an Isaac Rosen, or you're not, getting what you need out of a Lucas Rusek, these players that are doing fine, down in Rochester, but then they come up. Devin Levi is another example. It's like he came out of college and he looked great for 10 games, and that's like adrenaline and whatnot. But then it's been a little bit. Again, he looks great in Rochester, but then he comes up to the NHL, and I know that's a big difference, But eventually, some of these guys got to start panning out for you, and if they're not, true exceptions like a Zach Benson or something, then it's not happening. So the fact that nothing's changing is crazy to me. You're just kind of battering your head on a wall. But I mean, we do have
Dude,
Kevin Adams still there.
that's why to coin, Chad Dademan assistant his boys. I think I might have one more in me.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Well, we know we're going to be around for it because that's what we do as Sabres fans. Which, by the way,
If we start being like really bad next year, like if it doesn't go well, and like it's so toxic and it's terrible, I am going to be rooting for losses, losses, losses. Gavin McKenna to Buffalo. You heard it here first. Give me Gavin McKenna. We need to be righted for the wrong of missing out on Connor McDavid in 2015. 10 years later, 11 years later, actually, 11 years later, getting gifted Gavin McKenna with a draft lottery win. Oh, that would be so nice. And Kevin Adams wouldn't be here anymore. So,
well, that's why we kind of said earlier that it's almost a lose lose, right? Because if the Sabres suck again, like we're all sad because we sucked again, and
yep.
it's 15 years. The good news there is Kevin Adams is probably gone. you would hope.
You would hope.
And if they by chance figure it out, which statistically speaking, when you flip a coin, it should happen, at some point, then
Right.
It's also a lose because maybe we just got lucky for a year and now that buys Kevin Adams another year. So it's just like it's so
are
frustrating.
Are you happy if we have Montreal season where we sneak in? Like, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, like, is Montreal seriously going anywhere?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of like a couple of their pieces there.
Yeah, but they're not close to being a cup contender, and it's like
they're closer than us.
Sneaking in, yeah, I agree. Sneaking in would be incredible. At the same time, I don't want Kevin Adams to be here anymore, so I'm conflicted.
You just have to be. The thing is like you just have to really be a true outlier to make it through the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like you have to be such a good team where like even if you look at the NHL playoffs this year, like realistically, who are the teams that could have won this year? Like I still think Dallas could have won. Obviously they collapsed, but like there's probably between on the West, you're looking at Dallas and Edmonton as probably the two teams that could have won. Maybe Vegas, and the West was a little bit more loaded. But look at the East; it was Florida and Toronto. Like that, those you have like it's just so hard to be elite of elite and to win. So that's why I would say, like, yeah, I would take Montreal season, because you have to be just that good, and the Sabres are clearly years away from being that good, but it's such a tier break between those true competitors and like just getting in. But
Yeah, yeah. Just I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm still gonna remain excited for the next little bit here through Friday and then through Tuesday and then maybe like the third, the fourth, the fifth, because like when that comes up, like dude, rosters are set after that. Like no one, everyone's going to their cabin, their lake house, and summer's on, and the NHL draft and the NHL off season is like pretty much over until training camp. So we got a week, pretty much a week in to improve our squad, and that scares me, but also excites me at the same time because we're getting down to brass tacks here. So let's get it.
all right, we'll end it this way. I got the perfect exercise to end this show. Get us ready
Okay.
for this draft in a couple days and the beginning of off season. All right, so in summary, in your opinion, all right, because we probably, I mean, we might not record for another 2-3 weeks, who knows, but what happens over the next couple weeks as far as like what's your prediction as far as Sabres draft, any player movement, any trades, any free agent signings? Give me a little mini breakdown of like what you think might happen over the next couple weeks here.
All right, I think they stick and they pick at 9.
Okay.
I think they trade JJ for an equivalent forward, young player, and I think they trade Bowen Byram for an underwhelming on paper right shot defenseman that might work out better than people think.
Okay.
And then for free agency, I think they go after like another Jason Zucker type and try to bring in some toughness as well.
Yeah, free agency is tough to say because it's going to be dependent on any potential trades.
My dream is Marchand. I mean, pay him all of the money.
All right. Do
You know,
you think we'll have any? Do you think when we that would be great? Do you think when we talk in a couple weeks, do you think there's going to be any news on RFA signings or Tuck?
yeah, I think Tuck gets done. Hopefully, if it goes into like mid-July, then I think I might start to get a little worried.
Yeah.
But if we get like July 2nd, 3rd, I think around there, I think he signs. I just have a good feeling about it.
Okay. All right. I think
And the other
sadly,
guys, the RFAs, like yes, I think they get done eventually. I mean, there's no rush on the RFAs. Like McLeod, whatever, dude. Just sign whenever you're ready. It's
yeah,
fine. He
yeah.
has no arbitration rights. So like, similar to JJ, like you either sign it or you don't play.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think actually McLeod's a good fit here. There's something to be
Me
said,
too.
it again, like Buffalo's not a bad place to play. Like you said, the players, it's not a bad place to live. It's not a bad place to play. Like there is a good fandom here. If anything, it's just the winning. The winning fixes everything. So you've seen before guys come here and like it. Like even look at Zucker. So I think McLeod likes it here. I think he wants to stay. I do think Paterka wants out, and so I am gonna predict
Yeah,
sadly
let's
that
tell me what you think.
yeah, I'm gonna say that the Sabres also stick and pick at 9.
Okay.
I think that's more of a function of just the draft. And
Yeah, I agree. Of like the NHL.
yeah, it's just tough. It's just tough because it's just not a league where you can see the value in these picks right away. Like these teams that are drafting, they're not like, oh, I need to go get this guy because it's going to make a difference for me right away. And so I think that's what makes
Yeah.
it hard. So I'm going to say that the Sabres stick and pick at 9. There's even no what? Let's actually move down a little bit because I'm going to guess that their
Okay.
guys are off the board. So I could see them doing something a little similar to next year. And then probably moving up a little later in the draft, maybe packaging up an extra pick that they get and then moving up, maybe taking a couple second round selections. Right now, they only have one. So I could see them doing something like that this year. I do think that Alex Tuck is going to get done. I don't know if we'll have news yet on the next time we talk, but I do think he's going to get. I'm going to say that we trade JJ and Byram. I think those guys are both heading out this year. And I might even say that they're going to make a move and make a trade with UPL. Man, I could see them wanting to make a move for a
Okay.
goalie. I don't
Interesting.
know if that'll happen before we take or not, but I think they are gonna have a noisy offseason. And I could see them.
I hope so.
I could.
We deserve it.
I honestly, if they decided that they wanted to really upgrade the goaltender position and wanted to send UPL with someone for something, I'd be fine with that. And yeah, so we'll see. There's a lot of things that can happen, but I'm gonna say UPL out, Paterka out, Byram out, and then slide back in the draft a little bit.
Okay. What's your dream scenario for free agency?
Oh, hmm. I don't know, man, because I'd have to look at the free agent list. I haven't really like perused
I'll
it
tell you,
too much.
it's trash, kind of.
I don't think we have a chance at like the big guys,
Yeah.
like a Sam Bennett or anything.
No Marner. No Marner to Buffalo.
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
Dude, that'd be fucking sick.
To be honest, I mean the the dream would probably be just where our team is right now. I mean, if you get a guy, if the only thing you did this offseason was sign Brad Marchand, I think you make the playoffs.
Right. Dude, you know what? You know what I was actually just thinking? You know who would be another sneaky good signing for us? John Tavares.
That's another one.
Veteran.
Yep.
Veteran. He's unbelievable. He still can play. He still can score goals. He is just a good player. You could stick him on the wing. You can put him at center if guys get hurt. Like, I think that might be like it would bring like some credibility to the locker room as well. Like former captain.
Oh yeah, that would be
Like,
great.
so that I think he might be like my number one target beside.
What are
Number
some
two
other
target
names out there? You
besides
got some
Marchand.
other names for me?
Let's go. Let's see. Like, well, you got Bennett, you got Marner,
Yeah, the
you
big
got
boys. We're not getting the big
Tavares.
boys.
It's not really, dude. I really don't think it's that good. It's going on Puckpedia because
What's the deal with Rossi?
that's
I
what.
know he's out there. Is he a UFA or
Oh
is he
yeah, he's
just
out there
in
too.
last
No,
year?
he's not. He's an RFA, but he wants a ton of money.
Yeah.
Aaron Ekblad is a UFA.
Yeah, I know Ekblad. Yeah,
Dmitry
I don't
Orlov,
think we're
Ivan
going to
Provorov.
get into the Florida guys. There's no way Florida's keeping all
You
those
know
guys
who
though.
is
But
really a really enticing get would be Gavrikov from LA, the defenseman.
yeah,
He
yeah,
shoots
yeah, yeah.
left, but I don't give a fuck. If you could put him with power, that pair would eat. But they'd have to pay him obviously a ton of money. But I mean, there's guys out there where like they can do some damage here and maybe splash some cash every once in a while. I don't fucking know. I want nothing to do with like a Brock Besser. I want nothing to do with him. Or like an old Claude Giroux. He's going to be 38 years old. My guess is he signs back
What about
in
Ehlers?
Ottawa. I, if you could get him here, sure. But there's no way he's coming here. Ehlers is primed to go to like a Rangers kind of team. Oh, it would be really funny if we signed Patrick Kane. That'd be
Yeah, I
really
know. I
funny,
saw
actually.
Patrick Kane. Yeah,
Like 2 years too late. Like look at the rest of the free agents. Oh my God, Jonathan Drouin,
Victor Olofsson.
Swanko. Yeah. James Van Riem's like the old man. Like Christian Dvorak's not bad. I mean, oh my goodness, this list is Jeff Skinner.
I know.
How about
I
bring
see that.
Jeff?
Yeah.
What'd be fun for me personally if they went out they signed out a guy like Joel Armia who like was drafted by us but never played a game for the Sabres and like stuck him on the fourth line. That'd be kind of fun. He's like a decent little fourth line, like decent fourth liner. I don't
Yeah.
know. Free agency's weird. Like these guys are all not very good. I mean, I can't even say not very good. They're just mid. Like they're not difference makers. If you bring in like a handful of them, they could be difference makers. But like on their own, like we saw how good Zucker was for us.
Yeah.
That was a mid signing, and it turned out to be pretty decent. So hopefully they can hit on a couple of those guys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. There's some names out there, but that list of names is, and I just looked it up too. It's like there's not like a ton out there aside from those top maybe 10 guys, which is always the case. That so if they can, if they can land one of those top guys, that's awesome. Like go out and make an offer you can't refuse to one of these guys. Like I'm totally fine overpaying to bring somebody in and generate some buzz and some noise. And if you're going to move a couple contracts, then that's fine too. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But All right, man. We're right on the dot, an hour. I feel like that's good. This was good to get a little hockey talk out there before the draft. We're gonna go grab some wings on Friday night and see what they do. But
Yeah, it'll be fun.
it'll be an interesting Friday night, that's for sure. But
Yes, sir.
that will do it for today's episode, everybody. So enjoy the draft, enjoy the hopefully lots of fun and exciting news coming out for the Sabres over the next couple of weeks. We'll be back with you guys as soon as we can to react to some of the changes that we get over the next few weeks. But until that time, stay safe in the Sabrehood, everybody, and we will see you in the next episode. Later.
Peace.